Good evening. It is day 27. I am remembering, wait a minute. Do I have my thing on? I do. Okay, so there's the microphone. Sorry. My dad's walking in the house. That's going to fluster me for a minute. He's been out at barbershop quartetting chorus practice. So I snuck in here to the laundry room thinking I would hide away from him, but he may barge in the door and totally confuse me. Hello, it's just me talking to my friends on Facebook. Okay, there. That's all done now. Okay, so here I am. I'm in the laundry room because I was hoping to hide away from him, and it didn't actually completely work, but that's okay. Um, Today, day 27. Gosh, Thanksgiving's closing in, the holidays, and where I am, there's a couple funerals coming up. I'm out in Douglasville where I grew up, and my childhood pastor passed away this week. He has been a stalwart, kind of dealt with a lot of illnesses all of his life, Pastor Leon Jeffords, and but he is now gone. And then another guy that my brother was really good friends with had a stroke, and he was kind of integral here in this area. Ran for politics, was kind of involved in the community, and he passed away at a relatively young age. So I know people out here are kind of dealing with, again, one more time, the loss at the holidays. And I've seen on Facebook a lot of my chronically ill friends talking about, gosh, it just doesn't feel like Christmas. I'm so tired. The holidays, or Thanksgiving, excuse me, I almost forgot Thanksgiving. But, a lot of them are, just kind of struggling out there. And I just want to say, and I've been saying it the whole time, but the message keeps coming. My son, Nathan, came to see me tonight. He is a assistant choral director up at Milton High School in North Fulton County, which is pretty cool. And he's pretty awesome. And he came down, we had agreed weeks ago he would come and bring me some movies. And so we watched a movie tonight. I don't normally advocate for an R-rated movie, but trust me, I really, really don't advocate for R-rated movies much. But there was this movie. It's called About Time. It came out about 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, such an incredible movie. And I want to tell you about it, but then some of you might get mad at me for telling you about it. So I don't want to tell you the whole thing, but the essence is just one more picture of the beauty of life and the day-to-day living. And I was telling Nathan, I said, it's like, I think I'm starting to learn that it's like a lot. I'm a middle child, so I always, was kind of the one trying to fix things, the one who saw problems different than the older or the younger. And I'm a truth person, much to a fault. You can ask everybody around me. Susan will say it like it is. And sometimes that's nice. Sometimes that's painful. Sometimes it's revealing. Sometimes it's just not, But, I'm a truth person. And, okay, wait, where was I going with that? Oh, man. So I was talking to Nathan about what I was, this whole feeling. I think all my life I've been trying to iron out some wrinkle paper. We would arrive as a family when everybody's issues were ironed out, and I'm kind of partly the master ironer. It's my job to keep ironing everybody's stuff, to keep reaching out, to kind of help. And especially as we all get together for the holidays, this stuff gets kind of swirled more, these thoughts, these parts of who we are. And I said, what I realized? I realized that I'm not going there this year. I'm realizing that I really only have so much knowledge anyway. Everything that I think that is these great thoughts and amazing, not all of them are right. I think I have some stuff to offer, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to really who we are, and that's one of the things I loved about this movie, it just showed how complicated it is, how complicated the intertwining, and yet then how beautiful the day is. And so I'm at this place where instead of always trying to figure out how to fix the things for everybody, it's really about trying to sit where I am now and go, wow, we can just be okay. Maybe it's more about ironing out me. The more I've been able to iron out my wrinkles and my things, I don't feel such a need to try to reach in and figure out all of theirs. And not that they all need figuring out. Excuse me if my family hears this, who knows how they'll take it. But there's a lot going on. I mean, I think sometimes my little family clan, looks a lot more cleaned up than all the behind the scenes stuff truly is. But a lot of families look that way. And we've got some hard stuff going on, some painful stuff going on. And yet, praise Jesus, like, he just keeps saying, I am the one. I'm the one. You know, my dad turned 75 a couple weeks ago. One of the best things, I think, I had a nephew who said, hey, Grandpa, what's your advice? 75 years. What is your advice for the world? You know, and I love that my dad basically went through some of the hard stuff and wrong stuff even that he did as a young Naval Academy grad. He was, you know, probably drinking too much and going to some parties, but he had this trip. He had to go over to Spain for a couple of weeks. I remember we thought those 2 weeks were an eternity and it was going to be awful and Dad was going to be gone. But he came back a changed person, and he came back a person who realized that he wanted Jesus number one. And that relationship with Jesus meant everything. And that's been the driving force in his life from that time until now. And there was something about hearing my dad say, I'm still at it, and that's still number one to me. And to hear him say that in all of the strengths and his weaknesses, and he's got them both just like me, you know, it's like, I just sat there thinking, Lord, that's where I want to be at 75. I want to be able to know that of all the things that went on, that I could get to that point that you are the King of the Kings, King of Kings. You are the Lord of Lords. You are the author and creator of life. And it's really kind of that simple. So I just encourage you, man, if I know there's, you know, I'm speaking from a place where, like, my biggest excitement is that my stomach's starting to work properly again. I had an ileus. That's why they kept me in the hospital longer last week. I had to kind of, like, I guess it means the muscles and nerves stop a little bit. It's very common after abdominal surgery, but so it's taking a little bit longer for all that, for me to figure that out. But it's like, you know, that's my big excitement right now. A lot of you have a lot of other things that are far more important in terms of running children around and families in pretty hard situations and your own health. So I know right now my life is like, I can step away from all the chaos and just focus on healing. And, but in this place, I just encourage you, find that way that you can step away from it this week somehow. Step away, iron out your own wrinkles. Let Jesus come in and work in that place in you. You know, we don't have to fix everybody. In fact, we cannot fix everybody. Watch the movie About Time if you're up for a few shady things. It wasn't a big over-the-top R movie, but man, it was a sweet movie. And then, you know, think about just that dailiness. Find some beauty in the dailiness. Determine to find it. Determine to have a moment where you listen to a song and let the joy of it wash over you. Let someone else's story empower you. Let the truth that Jesus rose from that cross. I mean, that was one of the best lines in the movie. It was like, man, you know, it's so complicated down here. I mean, Jesus, like, you know, he like came down here to save the world and he had to die. He said, you know, how crazy is that? You know, it is complicated. I do not want to minimize that. But sometimes I think faith is about living in this moment, confident that he's bringing us through, and practicing confidence, practicing joy, practicing not feeling alone even when we feel alone. Like, we kind of wait for something to happen to change how we feel. And I'm learning to try to do that inside of me through some of the scriptures. You know, sometimes it is a movie. Sometimes it is calling somebody. Sometimes it's just trying, you know, sometimes I've tried to, when I'm feeling lonely, I try to just stop and think, when have I felt loved? When have I felt the most loved by somebody? And then remember, try to let that feeling like awaken inside of me. And remember that is God's heart to me right now. That is God's heart to you right now as we enter into this time, to this season of thanks. Even with funerals, you know, my big goal right now is I really hope I can get to the funeral in 2 days and sing with the choir. My sister's going to try to come. It'd be really cool for my whole family to be there. He, you know, Leon Jeffers baptized me, married me twice. And he's just along the way had some of the sweetest things to say that resonate deep in my soul. And I would love to be able to be at that funeral just to celebrate life. So if you're feeling the weight of loss, you got a funeral to go to, you got the heaviness of just so much around, find a way. Force yourself even if you just turn on this silly internet and Google, who am I in Christ? And say those words out loud. Read a list. They are everywhere. Fight on, people. We cannot give up. We have a world to conquer. We have a world to sing out to and to be the light to. So stay strong. Let's do this thing. All right. So appreciate you guys. And I'll be back tomorrow for day 28. Bye.